try to find somebody that you think is going to grow with you, that you share values with, that you trust, because it's best for your marketing as a business to have somebody that understands you, can put strategies in place, oversee them, and just help them grow and gain momentum.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Raving Patients podcast. As you know, I'm your host, Dr. Len Tao. Today's episode is actually with one of my good friends. He is one of my speakers at my event, and the event is happening this weekend, September 28th and 29th and 30th, 2023 in Delray Beach, Florida. So if you're hearing this episode, you've missed my event, but hopefully you want to come to my future events. Today's episode is actually sponsored by Studio 88, Dentistry Story-Driven Marketing Agency. Traditional dental marketing doesn't attract new patients because it doesn't accurately represent your practice. When a patient lands on a templated website with stock photography and clunky design, they have nothing to connect to and they leave. Don't lose patients you've never met. The team at Studio 88 creates a digital presence that is authentically you, so patients trust you and your team from the moment they encounter your brand. They bring your story to life and get attention with beautiful websites, real photography and video, and a digital strategy that works. Your story is worth it. Learn more about the power of story in your marketing at s8e8.com. So speaking of Studio 88, I have the owner and CEO here, Joshua Scott, coming back for a second episode. We recorded one previously and he was so good, I wanted to bring him back. He's also, like I said, one of my speakers. He's actually ending day one at Supercharger Dental Practice. Joshua Scott is a marketing speaker and a consultant who has spent the last 21 years in the dental industry. He is the owner and CEO of Studio 88, Dentistry Story-Driven Marketing Agency. He was recently named as the top healthcare marketing agency in the United States by Healthcare Business Review. Their mission is to create more authentic marketing by telling better stories. Josh currently resides in New Albany, Ohio, where he collects Air Jordans over 100 pairs, recently completed his level 3 sommelier certification, and typically ends his day at CrossFit. He's been married to his high school best friend Joanna for 26 years and has 2 children, Caden, age 17, and Aaliyah, age 13. So please welcome to the Raving Patients podcast, Josh Scott. Josh, thank you so much for joining me today.
Hey, Len, man, it's always a pleasure talking with you. I mean, we were just pre-show. We're like, hey, we're not going to have a problem talking about stuff here today because you and I get along great. And I was going to say, I'm looking forward to your event, but since we're podcasting into the future, I should say, Len, your event was so amazing. Everybody should sign up for 2024.
I'm hoping that everybody leaves with that. I mean, we put a lot of heart and soul and a lot of effort into making it a great event. I really haven't spared an expense in doing things the right way the first time. You know, you and I attend a lot of events and we see the good, the bad, and the ugly about these events. And I've really taken notes at every event. I said, I will not be doing this. I want to do this. This is cool. Let's do this. So, I look forward to obviously, having you there. And by the time people are listening to this, the event would have been taking place already. Yeah,
man. Look, you and I have been at some events that have not been good. And if I can't get a cup of coffee at your event, I'm going to come straight to you and talk to you about it. Just so you know.
You will definitely be able to get a cup of coffee at the event. Joke. I don't think we'll have decaf. So hopefully you drink regular coffee because I don't think we're having decaf, but there'll definitely be a cup of coffee there. So why don't you, to begin with, I mean, look, I think most people know who Studio 88 is and they know of you, but obviously, if they're under a rock or don't market, they don't know enough about you or may not know about you. So why don't you let everybody know who you are and what you do?
So Studio 88, we are a dentistry story-driven marketing agency. We're in our 9th year now and started this really from a standpoint of I came into dentistry different. Like I didn't come into it from the clinical side. And so for me, when I looked out, dentistry was always, it's an inspiring profession. It's innovative. It's a really beautiful profession of humans serving humans. And yet when I looked at dental marketing, that story was rarely, if ever, being told. And so I just kind of asked the question, why? And to be honest, at first I thought, man, there might be some restrictions here, like on what we can say and how creative dentistry could be. Cause it just was all, I mean, at the time it was, really templated websites with bad stock photography. And a lot of that stock photography was rotating around the country. Like you'd see the same smiling girl on like 8 different websites in 8 different cities, and direct mail looked the same. And I think for me, it was like, I just felt like the profession deserved better. Like we can tell a better story here. And so that really was the origination of the company.
I think that's really good and really great. So let's jump in. I know you have a new, I want to say business model, but you refer to it as for uniques. So can you first go over these things and really do or tell the audience and the viewers what makes Studio 88 different or unique from the other marketing agencies that are out there? Look, I have relationships with other ones as well. There are absolutely tons of them. When you go on a trade show floor, there are so many people saying they can market your practice. So what makes what you do unique compared to other competitors?
Yeah, one of the things about the marketing space, and this will really help kind of differentiate us, is because really the cost of entry to become a marketing company is pretty low. I mean, honestly, if you can get somebody to sign up for a digital ad campaign, you got a marketing agency, so, and Lynn, you know the space well. Like most events I show up at, there's a brand new marketing company there. Cause it's like that. So one of the things we've tried to do over the 9 years is we've built something significant that's really long-term play, is go, what makes us different? But even more than that, like, what do top practices really need from an agency? And so one of the things that makes us unique is we say it, we serve the best. And we say it like that because we really work with some of the top practices around the country in cities, like top practices in cities. And they're practices that are looking to do something different. They're looking to be different, tell a different story, reach their patients in a really compelling and engaging way. And so we come alongside them. And what I've been able to reverse engineer is, instead of investment money telling me how to get more revenue from our business, I've been able to go, what do actual like top practices need from a marketing agency? And so we actually just won. You mentioned this Healthcare Business Review. Annually, they do a list of the top marketing companies in healthcare, not just dentistry. And we happen to make that list. And then they go through an interview process where they sort out and kind of vet everybody out. And everybody's kind of getting some marketing from it. But they came back to us and said, we actually want to name you guys top marketing company of 2023. And I think a lot of it is just because of this approach that we've taken. And so, for instance, like when we say we're serving the best, we limit our new clients. Right now, we take on 8 new clients a month, and that's it. And for me, I know that's what our creative capacity is. Like, for you to have an amazing experience with us and get amazing creative, and for us to produce something predictable, it's 8 a month. Like, that's what our team can handle. And so then, we'll add more team members and then increase it to 10 or to 12. But we've kind of like right now, I mean, this will be a little bit tough, but like we're in the last week of July, but we've already almost filled up August. So we're kind of like a 20 to 30 day out, wait when clients want to work with us. But, for us to go to them and say, we could throw you in with everybody and you're probably not going to get the service that you deserve and even the creative you deserve, or we can ask you to wait 2 or 3 weeks and you will have our 100% attention and focus of our account managers, our designers, our developers. And everybody loves that. They're like, yeah, I can wait 2 or 3 weeks.
Yeah, I think that's really good that you've created almost like a demand. If you tell someone, you know what, we would love to have you as a client, but we need you to be a little patient because we are so busy. And look, I live in South Florida now, and it seems like the vendors here, minimum, are a month to 6 weeks. I mean, it's ridiculous. We bought a wall unit for where around our TV, and we signed up with them in April of last year. Okay. And they just installed March of this year. So it was like a year wait to get work with them. Okay. So it's really interesting. So and we wanted to work with them because they're like the best. And when you have some type of wait to come in, it's not necessarily a bad thing.
Yeah. And I think too, Lynn, like I've just made decisions on how I want to grow a company. Cause we've all seen this in the dental space. Companies grow fast and everybody's kind of like, wow, this company's around there. It's cool to watch them. And I have friends that have done this. And so it's not even like a good, bad, right or wrong thing. But what happens is when companies grow fast, a lot of times they outgrow, like they're growing too fast. And we've seen this. And then all of a sudden we start talking, the feedback is like, well, the customer service is declining. Well, the product, like, I don't feel like I'm getting the best anymore. Well, it's taking forever. And I just decided that's not the growth trajectory of our company. It's probably going to grow a little slower. It's going to be a little bit more intentional, but I'm in this, I got another 10 years in me, easy. And we're going to make sure that our reputation, what's being said, and our creative work meets a certain standard for every single client.
I think that's a great philosophy to have. For those that don't know, I'll say it now, and I didn't mention in the beginning, Josh and his team created my personal branding site. drlentau.com, which I get rave reviews about. Everybody who goes there says this site's awesome. It looks good. As you can see, my colors are my glasses. So and I have it on my watch. So I branded myself very much to what Josh and his team created a number of years ago at this point.
Yeah, that was such a fun project, going down the baseball field here in Columbus and getting some behind the scenes footage. Yeah.
Convention center, et cetera, et cetera. Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's go down the road again about, that was one thing you said. So let's talk about the rest of the things that really make you unique compared to your competitors.
Yeah. Number two is, I would say, it's this concept of, we call it the best of both worlds. And it's story-driven websites meets performance marketing. And so here's where I think the state of dental marketing is at. And we've kind of played into this. To give you a little background, like when you start a business, it's really hard to do all the things well. So like chapter 1 of Studio 88, we really kind of over-indexed on the creative. Like we really leveraged that, because that's where I felt like would get attention. That's what I felt like dentistry needed. It was better creative. It wasn't more marketing tactics. It was like, let's start to tell a better story and make our existing marketing way more effective. And so, we would always get attention for our websites, photography, video. If anybody was going to take a knock at us, it was always, oh, beautiful websites, but they're not going to score well on Google, right? And so we've put dentistry in this space where it's like you have to choose one or the other. Do I do a beautiful website that engages with people psychologically, or do I build a website that's going to score well with Google and get more people on the site? And so it's even now, I think in today's world, like this is where we're at. And about a year and a half ago, I was like, okay, chapter 2 is let's bring performance marketing into it, because I actually think our sites could score well if we really took that approach to it. I think they would actually convert digital ads at a higher rate because there's just more engagement. So we started kind of putting these things together, hired some key team members. We've really invested in that area. And the data that we've gotten back, man, the way our sites are performing, has just been, our team loves it. Like it kind of just shot like some energy into our team. And so now I think we're really the first people out there that I'm going, you don't have to choose anymore. We really think we know how to build a story-driven website and put really key performing marketing in place. And at the end of the day, that's going to outperform anything that's out there.
Yeah, I think that's really good that you've recognized that, that your sites are beautiful, but we're not performing the best. And I think that's kind of shows what type of business you are, is that you're looking to do better for your clients by putting that performance part of it in there. Because as you said, a great website can look great. It can have great videos, but if it doesn't convert and it doesn't show up on Google as well as you like it to be, you're not putting your best foot forward. So I commend you for recognizing that. And you were the one who brought it up that says, hey, our knack was that we weren't performing well. So it's really good that you've admitted that fault to some extent and you're looking at ways to improve that.
Yeah. Our team has collected the data here over the last 8 to 10 months. And I mean, what we're getting back is, our digital ads outperform just basic digital ads 2 times, like 2 to 1. So if you're going to spend, $1,000 or $10,000 a month on ads, wouldn't you want it to go somewhere where it's going to perform twice as better? You're just going to get way more out of that investment. Our website engagement, like the amount of time people spend on the site, is 3 to 4 times industry average. A lot of it's because of video, like engaging video, people will stop and watch for 45 seconds. And so our sites routinely see 2.5 minute averages on the sites. And then our SEO, this was a hard one to quantify. And my team kind of hates it when I throw out numbers because they absolutely want it to be like 100% real and authentic. But anecdotally, like what we're seeing just observationally from my end is, our, about 8 times better than what an industry standard dental site is performing. And so, we're going to lock down on those and probably get more vocal about it. But our team is just super proud of it.
I think that's great. So number 2 is giving the clients the best of both worlds, performance and looks. What's number 3?
Number 3 is, we call it free production for life. So our clients, when you initially sign up with us, probably like any agency, you're going to be in a 12-month commitment. However, our clients, after every 24 months that you're with us, you get a free photo or video session. And one of the pain points I saw over the last 9 years was practices would build a beautiful website, have some, team turnover, maybe remodel, just want to freshen things up, add a doctor. And it was like, how do we keep our website looking fresh? And so we really tried to solve this with hey, every 24 months, I mean, on average, I prefer it. I prefer it sooner than that, but I think as a good average across the country, every 24 months, you ought to get new photography, update your website. It's going to make it feel brand new again. And then you can keep on going. And so it is literally free. There's no travel, no nothing. It's for us, it's a retention strategy, like for sure. But it's like what's best for dental practices to just have that built in, no brainer. Don't have to worry about it. And so that's our approach to that.
So just to be clear, and I think that's great. I think it's a great retention. Like you mentioned, it keeps clients for longer because they know at 2 years, we can refresh everything. Like you said, if they brought in a new doctor, they had a significant change in their team, they renovated their office, they rebranded to some extent. I think that's a really, really good way to do that. So, just to clarify, it's free. There's no travel costs. There's nothing. It's a free video and photo shoot.
Yeah. As long as you're a client of ours, it's like our courtity to you.
And I'm assuming then you revamp the website at no cost as well.
Yeah. The photography is no cost. We update the site because it's part of the relationship.
Wow, that's really I haven't heard that from a company before, so that's definitely putting you in a different territory there compared to the other ones that are out there.
100%. Yeah.
That's really neat. Okay, so what's number 4?
And then last, I call it the last agency you'll ever need. Kind of like a question mark, like could we be the last agency you'll ever need? And I think really this concept of choosing a marketing partner that can grow with you in your practice and how important that is. And Len, you would absolutely be able to verify this. My observation from being in the space is most dental practices will switch marketing companies every 3 to 4 years. So like in a 10-year period of time, you could have 3 different marketing companies. And the fact that we think we can run an effective business that way is really just bananas. Like when you're starting and stopping and you get with a new agency and maybe they've got a different strategy and they want to rebuild your site and all your assets and your marketing campaign. And then it takes time to build momentum, but then you switch again, maybe because you didn't spend as much and now you don't like it and they didn't really get you and all this stuff. And it took so much time because you had to write the site. You don't want to go through that again. So you let it sit for 3 years, but then you come back to it. And it's like that marketing will never pick up momentum. And it's just it's not best practice for your business. And so I tell people, look, whether or not it's us, that part, you make the decision, especially for your practice, try to find somebody that you think is going to grow with you, that you share values with, that you trust, because it's best for your marketing as a business to have somebody that understands you, can put strategies in place, oversee them, and just help them grow and gain momentum.
It's really interesting. You said the average was 3 to 4 every 3 years. You're thinking someone changes their web marketing company or their marketing company in general. It's amazing. When I'm talking to docs, I know some that literally had been in business for less than a year and they have 4 different or 5 different marketing companies already, which doesn't make any sense to me.
Conservative with it. Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm like, can I ask you why? And they go, well, we're not getting results. There's a certain amount of time that you need to give the marketing agency to actually deliver what they say they're going to deliver. I mean, it's a good 6 months or more just to see what they put out there, because Google doesn't work that fast. I mean, you need to give it time. And, I just spoke to an orthodontist yesterday. He was with a company and he's exiting after year 1. And so he's got to rebrand, new website, everything else again, because most companies don't want to take over a pre-existing website because they can't do what they need to do to make it a Google more Google friendly. So, just a little, kind of a public awareness, announcement here. Give your marketing teams time. Okay. They should be able to deliver some numbers to you that show what they're doing for you, to prove the value they're going to be in a short period of time. But you've got to give them at least a year plus before you exit. There's no reason why. But I've been seeing some that have been exiting really short because you know what? There's so many people coming at them. There's so many marketing companies saying they can do it better. And how do you know? How do you know if you can trust them? I mean, that's really what it comes down to.
Yeah. I tell practice, I think a lot of this is it's too short-term thinking about actually building a business. And I think if you've got like a 3, 5, 10-year vision, you've got more patience for it. And so I tell practice, I'm like, look, year 1 of any marketing plan, you're probably going to look at it and go, I get to the end of year 1, like, I think it's working. Like I think we've seen some stuff there that's good. Year 2, you're like, oh yeah, no, like this is, we got a good direction. We've got some momentum going. Year 3, you're like, oh my gosh, we got so much momentum going. We could maybe we shut the thing off because now we've got too many new patients. And I think if you take that perspective, I tell most practices, you could be the top practice in your community in 3 years if you want to. It's building that momentum. But what happens is like, Lynn, I tell people like marketing is momentum. And so it requires a force behind it. It can be one of two things. It can be your time, like you're just getting out there hustling and doing the marketing, or it can be money. Oftentimes when we start a practice, we have more time than we have money. So we get out there, we hustle, we're posting on social media, we're asking patients for internal referrals, we're generating all the reviews. As we start to get busy and the practice is successful, we start to throw money at it to do that, which is fine. Here's the thing. Energy, like that momentum is moving in one direction. If every 3 months or every 3 years or 4 times a year, you're changing the direction of that energy, we're just like short bursts out, but you got to get energy going in the same direction, get that ball rolling. Year 2, you're like, okay, man, it's rolling. Year 3, you're like, okay, we got more business than we know what to do with. And so I think it's just from that perspective of looking at things. We're 9 years into this. It would probably freak people out to know, we're going to spend $500,000 in marketing this year. Like but year 1, I don't know that I spent $5,000 in marketing. Like when we were it was all my time hustling social media, podcasts. But now like we've gotten to the point with conferences and all the things we do externally, internally, it's a legit $500,000 budget. So when people are like, you guys are everywhere, your marketing's everywhere. I'm like, well, it's been almost 10 years of a lot of investment creating that momentum to give us that effect.
No, I get that. I mean, look, it's the same thing for me. I've been doing this now. I've been in the marketing space probably since 2010. So we're talking about 13 years, and people, they know me. They see what I do. They recognize my glasses. I get a lot of people that say stuff about my glasses. So yeah, I mean, I think it's a lot of things over time, but it's giving it time to work. It's not just shifting gears quickly when someone says they can do it better or similar, but for cheaper. It's not always about that.
For our clients 9 years ago, the very first websites we built, they literally still have those same websites. They've just updated the photography and video. And so there's part of this where like if you build the website right, like it's an accurate reflection of you. It's your guys' story. It's your values. There's great photography on it. We know that it's engaging patients because they're staying on average, 2 minutes and 10 seconds. So like it's hitting all those marks. You could build a site that could last you 10. I mean, we know it at least would last you 10 years. Just update the assets on it and keep it looking fresh. We actually don't even know how long websites can go now. They're not going to change anytime soon. Like the structure of them, we're in that whole vertical scrolling structure for a while. So barring any major website changes, you can get 10 years out of a website. And I think that's the right way to be thinking about it.
I don't disagree with that at all. I mean, I think it's long-term thinking, it's planning, it's making sure you know exactly what you're getting. Because I think a lot of people out there don't know what they're actually getting. And I say, what are they doing for their money? Well, I don't know. Well, how do you spend money without knowing what someone's going to do for you? That always boggles my mind.
Yeah. Well, and marketing companies are notorious for shrouding things in mystery and cold calling with some type of urgent, like, Google's getting ready to block your site, and you're on the phone, you're like, what? So I mean, marketing companies have been bad about creating that whole system too. I'll be the first to admit it.
They definitely have. So I'm curious, looking ahead 3, 4, 5 years, and I know you just said, scrolling is not going away. What do you think are the biggest advancement in the dental marketing sector? AI, where do you think that's going to go with things? ChatGPT is the rage right now. Can you predict where you see things going in 4 or 5 years?
Yeah, man, that's a good question. Obviously, AI is going to play a role in that. And the first real easy low hanging fruit that everybody's doing is just writing blog articles from it. It almost made that SEO play just at your fingertips now. Like, I can send in 5 minutes, create a blog post and post it. So I think that's the really low hanging fruit. I think with any disruptive technology, what we're seeing at the beginning is literally not what it's going to be. So I think that there's going to be some evolution there. But the question for let's just take blog articles for example. The question is going to be, when everybody's posting AI generated blog articles here in the next 2 years, it always comes back to this. Then it's like, well, how do I stand out with articles and education pieces? And you're going to have people that innovate on that and do something. And I'm always a firm believer. I think high technology requires high touch. So it's just like the more technology comes in, for me, there's always more opportunity to actually have human touch. Like if AI takes blog articles and educational articles away from the human touch, fine. It just means there's going to be other places where now you can invest in that and stand out and be different. So I don't see a world that's completely taken over by robots. I see one where we're assisted by them, but it allows us to be actually more human in our care.
Got it. Other than AI, anything else on the marketing horizon that you think practices should be on the lookout for?
I think, Reels and TikTok and just where everything's at with social, usually what we see trending on social comes down the road as far as affecting web experiences. So I would say we are actually creating more. We just did kind of our first one. We're on our second one. We've got our eye on a third one, but spotlighting some clients where we feel like the website feels more like Instagram or like TikTok or Reels than it does a traditional website. So like we're messing around with that. And I think that's, because everybody's just scrolling. We're all on mobile devices scrolling, and there's just a format that our human minds are attracted to. And so I think websites are going to push that a little bit more. And then I think last is just all these convenience pieces that are coming into the mix kind of post-COVID are just going to have to become standard. The whole online experience has to be it's not a website anymore. It's a web experience, and it's convenient forms, scheduling, chat, reviews, all the things. I don't even buy pizza anymore by picking up a phone. It's, like calling somebody. There's an app and I'm ordering it, and then it's delivered here, or I go pick it up. So if you can do that with pizza, like dentistry is going to be there.
Yeah, no, I agree. And not that I really promote Bird Eye in here, but Bird Eye has moved completely into that direction. We have appointments, we have forms, we have chat, we have all those things built into our platform because it's a digital experience now that we expect when we go to a business. And if you don't have those things, people are going to wonder where you are, or if you're even a relevant business anymore, and you have to be active on social as well. Those are like the key ingredients to getting the new customers or new patients to come into your business. Before we get to the Q&A, which I like to do, anything final that you wanted to at least bring up or discuss?
No, the reason I share some of that just is because I think it gives people a different vision for what an agency experience could be like. I think dental marketing agencies are better than they were, but I think we still got some room to grow. And it's really just getting a different vision for what your marketing experience could be, the things you should be looking for. So whether or not you use us or you feel like we're the best fit, 100%, but keep some of these things in mind and look for those.
Great. So we're going to shift gears just a little bit here. I'm going to go to my lightning round Q&A. So Josh, we're going to ask you these questions. You don't have to go into long drawn out answers. You can answer them very quickly, like one word or two words, and we'll move them on. Okay. So what kind of culture exists in your organization, and how did you go about establishing it?
Working with millennials, we've definitely had to protect creativity, allow them to be creative you have to be creative every single week. And for a lot of creatives, that's hard, that predictability, but it's professionalism. So just creating a culture where our millennials feel safe, they feel like they can be creative, even in this is dentistry. I'm like, yeah, but you can still be highly creative.
Got it. What have you learned from the most successful person you know?
Like playing your own game and figuring that out, because even us trying to grow a company in the dental space, like everybody's watching practices get bought up by DSOs and consolidate. The same thing's happening on our ends. Like all of the not marketing companies, but all the dental companies, they're buying each other. And, we get offers all the time. And there's this kind of expectation of, you take investment, you scale, you sell, you go on to the next thing. And I think I had to just kind of come to grips with that's not my path, and that's okay. And we can still compete at a high level.
That's really good. If you had one piece of advice to someone who's just starting out, what would it be?
Trust yourself. Put confidence in yourself. You are your number one asset. That confidence, that mental confidence is a huge asset. So invest in it.
Who would you love to collaborate with that you haven't collaborated with before, and what would you collaborate on?
This is easy. This isn't going to make you laugh. I'm sure it's going to sound superficial, but Drake, the rap artist Drake.
I know you just went to his concert. So.
Yeah, I did. I took my son for his first time, but he just kind of plays the soundtracks of my life, and I would love to. I just think he's a great wordsmith, which I love as well. And so yeah, that'd be fun.
That's good. Has anyone in your network been important on your journey?
Yeah, I'm like 4 people just come to my mind. My wife has been incredibly important on this journey. Her support. She jumped in on this project about 5 years ago and has just been a huge asset to the team. I tell people when a wife gets involved, it's either really good or it's really bad. It's usually one or the other. There's not a lot of gray in between. And she's just been such a really great fit for the team. And her being there, she knows like internally what's going on with me. My business partner, he's the exact opposite, probably personality of me, but it was like, we just have this really unique thing going. He's always been so supportive, always tells me yes, always like gets on board with the vision that I'm seeing. And so those 2 in particular.
So you have a gazillion books in your background. I'm assuming they're real. So what book have you read multiple times and you definitely recommend someone else should read?
That one's tough. I don't read stuff multiple times. I just don't. I don't know why. I'm like, there's too much out there to read and it feels like it's wasting time. Just finished this one, Unreasonable Hospitality. So good. I'm going to probably walk my account management team through this towards the end of the year. With my expectation, I really want this to kind of be our our mission for our account management team and how we serve our clients, Unreasonable Hospitality. And then Lynn, this one just came out by Sally Jenkins called The Right Call. And she was a sports reporter for like all the major publications like Wall Street Journal, New York Times, all that stuff. But so she writes about all of her experiences with high performing athletes like Stephen Curry, Tom Brady, and talks about decision making and what she witnessed from them and kind of puts it into a book. And this was amazing. So
I wrote those 2 down because I always take advice from the people that I interview. So that's great. Unreasonable Hospitality and The Right Call. Got it. Last question. Do you keep a journal and does it help you?
Yes, I have 2 journals. I've got like my business journal here where I just write down anything like calls I'm on, thoughts I have, all that. And then I've got like my kind of, I don't know, emotional Josh's journal where it's more deep stuff and just, so absolutely helps me. You know where it really helps is every now and then, probably once or twice a year, I look back through my journals and to see some of the stuff I wrote, like stuff that inspired me then that I'd forgot about like 2 years later. And I'm like, that is so good. And sometimes I bring it back to the team again, like, hey, here's this concept, or it helps me think about like how to build on that. So journals are incredibly valuable.
Well, that was really good. You did a really good job at answering those questions. If somebody wants more information about what you can do for their practice, what's the best way for them to reach out to you?
Yeah, 2 places. If you want to connect with me personally, I'm at Instagram at Joshua Scott. I'm still in my account. I still do the DM. So if you hear this episode, shoot me a DM. Tell me you heard it. Studio 88, best place is SAE8.com. Letter S, number 8, letter E, number 8.com.
Josh, anything else you want to say before we say goodbye to the audience?
No, Lynn. I mean, good job. I mean, I love your podcast. Super looking forward to the event. I know it's going to be a good one. I appreciate you allowing me to speak, especially closing things down on that first day. It'll be I don't take that lightly. I take it very seriously, and I hope I make you look amazing being up there. So.
Well, I appreciate that. And guys, if you like this episode, please share it with your colleagues, subscribe, like it, review us, do everything you can to help promote the episodes. I don't market this. This is all done through word of mouth. I don't really do what I should be doing, but you guys help me a lot. So please let everybody know. Please promote it. I would appreciate it. Thank you, Josh, for joining me. Thank you for your sponsorship. Thank you for your support and your friendship. And remember, your reputation matters. Until the next episode, thanks to everybody for listening, and we'll talk to everyone soon.